In Ogbunike Kingdom, there was a sacred drum locked deep inside the royal shrine. It was not an ordinary drum, it was said to only beat during coronations and great festivals. The elders believed it carried the voice of the ancestors, and the king's power was tied to its silence. There was a warning passed down through generations. When this drum speaks, the kingdom will never remain the same again. For centuries, it never made a sound. Until the night of the red moon. That night, the sky turned unusually dark, and a strange silence covered the kingdom. Even the wind stopped moving. Inside the forbidden shrine, the sacred drum suddenly trembled and released a single heavy beat that echoed across the land. Then it spoke. Not through rhythm, but through words. This kingdom is built on silence. The entire palace froze. King Nwafa, the ruler of Ogbunike, was known as a wise and respected king. But he had one law that no one ever questioned: the past of the kingdom must never be spoken about. Even elders avoided certain topics. Even historians stopped writing certain truths. Because questioning the past was forbidden. Deep inside the forest stood a sealed shrine where the sacred drum was kept. Only 3 royal priests were allowed inside, and none of them ever returned the same. Some came out trembling. Others never spoke again. People whispered that the drum whispered their names at night. Inside that shrine, something ancient was waiting. On the 13th night after the red moon, the drum spoke again. This time, louder. They buried the truth under the palace. The royal guards tried to approach it, but none could touch it. The air around the drum felt alive, as if it was protecting itself. Shortly after, strange cracks began appearing beneath the royal throne. An elder priest, before mysteriously disappearing, once confessed. There is a tunnel under the palace throne, something is buried there. No one believed him. Until the palace floor began to break open. Long before King Nwafa, there was another ruler, King Ojoko. His reign was erased from royal records. No songs remembered him. No stories were told about him. The kingdom agreed to forget him. But the drum did not forget. Because the drum was not just wood. It was memory. It remembered every oath spoken in secrecy, every betrayal hidden behind royal walls, every injustice buried beneath celebration. And now, it was returning those memories to the world. As the drum continued speaking, fear spread through the kingdom. People stopped gathering freely. Elders whispered in corners. Women cried in the markets. The palace no longer felt like a place of peace, it felt like a place being judged. Then the drum spoke a name. Ezekwesili. A forgotten child. Abandoned at the palace gates many years ago. No explanation was ever given. No one spoke of it again. It was as if the child never existed. But now the truth was coming alive. That child was not just abandoned, it was part of a secret the kingdom buried long ago, a truth tied to the throne itself. The drum revealed it all slowly, not with rage, but with remembrance. The kingdom was not destroyed by war. It was built on silence. A silence that covered injustice. A silence that protected power. A silence that erased people. And the drum had carried that silence for generations, until it could no longer remain quiet. King Nwafa could no longer sleep. Every night, the drum echoed in his dreams. Even kings cannot silence truth. On the final morning, he walked alone into the sacred shrine. No guards followed him. No priest dared enter. He stood before the drum. The air became still. Then the drum gave one final beat. And spoke its last truth. Truth does not destroy kingdoms, silence does. When the sun rose, the king was gone. The throne stood empty. But the drum was no longer silent. Lesson. A kingdom, a family, or a society built on silence will always face its truth one day. Truth delayed is never truth denied. Caution. Never hide injustice under tradition, power, or silence. What is buried will eventually be revealed, and when it returns, it speaks louder than anything else.